A man unearthed an old sword on its blade. All enemies of the fallen warrior are now your enemies. The desert winds of Zyros cut across the barren flats, carrying sand sharp enough to flay skin. Jonas Hale bent low, digging with blistered hands. His survey scanner had pinged something buried beneath the dunes, metallic, ancient, strong enough to have survived centuries. He had expected a scrap of starship plating, or maybe a forgotten drone husk. Instead, his fingers brushed steel. Cold, impossibly cold despite the heat. He unearthed it slowly, heart pounding. A sword, not just a blade, but a relic, longer than his arm, forged of a strange alloy that shimmered faintly under the twin suns. Its hilt was wrapped in leather that hadn't rotted, and along the blade were etched words in a script half human, half alien. All enemies of the fallen warrior are now your enemies. Jonas swallowed hard. The desert felt suddenly larger, emptier, as though unseen eyes had fixed upon him. He should have left it there. He knew that. Scavengers live by one rule: never touch what feels alive. But the blade, it hummed faintly in his grip, as though recognizing him. Jonas strapped it to his back and began to trek toward his skimmer. He hadn't walked 100 steps before the horizon shifted. Dust trails, riders, 6 of them, beasts snorting under their armored weight. Raiders, Draxian warborn. Their leader raised a clawed hand. "You carry the sword of Veros," the raider growled. His voice carried across the flats, guttural and low. "Drop it. Human. Now." Jonas gritted his teeth. Found it in the dirt. Didn't know it had an owner. The raider's tusk grin widened. "It has thousands of owners. All who sought it. All who died for it. You carry it now, so you carry their war." The words on the blade burned in his memory. All enemies of the fallen warrior are now your enemies. Jonas drew it. The sword sang. Light shimmered along the steel, runes glowing like molten fire. The raiders charged. Jonas braced for death, but the blade moved before he did. His arm swung with a strength that wasn't his own, parrying claws, striking with precision that felt alien. His body burned, his veins lit with fury not his own. The sword carved arcs of brilliance, each swing disarming, each thrust devastating. When the dust settled, the raiders lay broken in the sand. Jonas stood trembling, the blade humming softly as it pleased. The leader, bleeding and gasping, looked up at him with hate. "You've doomed yourself, human. The enemies of Veros are endless. They will come for you now." Then he spat blood and died. Jonas staggered back to his skimmer, every step heavy with realization. The sword wasn't a weapon, it was a declaration. By lifting it, he hadn't just found a relic, he had inherited a war. That night, under the glow of the twin moons, he examined the blade. Images burned into his mind, visions of Veros, a warrior towering in alien armor, battling legions across worlds. He felt Veros' rage, his triumphs, his betrayal. He saw the oath carved into steel, to pass his enemies down forever, until none remained. And now Jonas bore that curse. The first attack came 2 nights later. A stealth craft screamed down from orbit, dropping assassins in black armor. Jonas barely had time to grab the sword before they descended. Again, the blade guided him. Movements too fast, too precise. The assassins fell, one after another, until the desert was littered with bodies. When silence returned, Jonas stood hunched over, chest heaving, hands shaking. "Stop using me like a puppet," he hissed at the sword. The runes glowed faintly in response. He didn't know if it was defiance or agreement. He sought answers in the ruins of Karvek's citadel, where rumor said Veros had made his last stand. The place was a husk, shattered walls and scorched towers. But in its heart stood a monument, a statue of the fallen warrior, larger than life, sword raised to the sky. At its base, Words etched in the same alien script. The war does not end with me. It ends with you. Jonas clenched his jaw. I didn't ask for this. From the shadows, a voice answered. No one ever does. A figure stepped out, an alien woman, tall, armored, scarred. Her eyes locked onto the sword at his side with fury and grief. You carry his burden, she said. That makes you my enemy. Before he could reply, she lunged. The duel was brutal. She fought like fire, her spear striking with speed and precision that rivaled the sword itself. Jonas parried, sparks lighting the ruins. You think you honor him, she spat. You mock him. I don't even want this. Jonas shouted, blocking a crushing strike. Then drop it. I tried. It won't let me. For a heartbeat, their weapons locked, faces inches apart. Her expression shifted, anger giving way to realization. You're bound. Jonas nodded, sweat pouring down his brow. It chose me. I didn't choose it. She hesitated, then pulled back. Her chest heaved as she lowered her spear. Then you're cursed, she said softly. Her name was Sarai, last of Varros' bloodline. She told him the truth. Varros had been betrayed by his own allies, cut down not by his enemies but by those he trusted. The oath on the blade was his vengeance, carried through eternity. You can't break it, Sarai said. You can only endure it. Jonas stared at the sword, hatred in his eyes. And if I don't want to endure it, then it will consume you, as it consumed others. The attacks never stopped. Across the weeks, assassins, raiders, soldiers, all sworn enemies of Varros, hunted Jonas. Each battle left him more skilled, more in tune with the blade. But each victory also carved away at him, filling him with rage that wasn't his own. One night, Sarai found him sitting by the fire, the sword across his knees, his eyes distant. You're changing, she said quietly. I know, Jonas whispered. Sometimes, I don't know where I end and begins. Sarai's gaze softened. That is the price. But maybe you can be more than Varros. Maybe you can end what he started. Jonas lifted his eyes to hers. For the first time, he didn't see the sword as a curse. He saw it as a challenge. Not to carry Varros' war, but to finish it. And so the man who had unearthed an old sword in the desert became a warrior not by choice, but by necessity. Every enemy of Varros was now his enemy. But he would fight not as a shadow of the fallen warrior. He would fight as Jonas Hale. The sword hummed in his hands, runes blazing brighter than ever. And for the first time, it felt less like a curse and more like destiny.